A cloud of suspicion surrounds the deaths of Oscar-winning actor Gene Hackman and his wife, whose bodies were found in their Santa Fe home.
Tonight, we're learning new details in the death of legendary actor Gene Hackman.
Far beneath Gene Hackman's private library, nearly 40 feet underground, an FBI agent's flashlight caught something that instantly stopped him in place.
1425 Old Sunset Trail, where Gene Hackman, 95, and his wife Betsy Arakawa, 65, and a dog were found deceased.
It was an iron door. There was no handle, no hinges visible from the outside. Only corroded rivets and thick weld seams ran along its edges, sealing it completely. Whoever had closed it had done so from the inside, and they had never come back out. What the FBI discovered beyond that door was something never meant for anyone to see. And the truth behind it would reshape how people understood one of Hollywood's most private legends. The day authorities entered the estate. On February 26, 2025, federal vehicles arrived at a massive secured gate hidden deep in the wooded areas outside Santa Fe. Behind those reinforced steel barriers stood the secluded estate of Gene Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa. The property, valued in the millions, had gone completely silent. No phone calls were answered. Staff had not reported for work. No one had seen or heard from couple. The concern didn't come from relatives or law enforcement initially. It came from a handyman. After noticing the unusual silence and lack of activity, he contacted deputies, fearing the worst. When officers arrived, they couldn't simply walk in. The gates were locked tight. They had to be forced open. Security systems had to be bypassed. That detail alone signaled that nothing about this situation was ordinary. This was a property designed to remain closed unless someone inside chose otherwise. Officers prepared themselves for what they believed would be a peaceful, natural death. Instead, they walked into something unsettling. Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa were found dead inside the residence. Their dog was also found dead nearby. Investigators later determined Betsy had died about a week earlier due to a serious viral infection. Hackman's death was attributed to heart failure, along with other health complications. Official reports labeled both deaths as natural causes. But what investigators saw inside didn't fully align with that conclusion. From the very beginning, the Santa Fe Sheriff's Department told the public there was no evidence of foul play. Yet at the same time, they conducted an extensive forensic investigation across the entire property. Federal specialists were called in. Advanced scanning equipment was used. Every structure was examined. Those actions suggested there was more to the story. The timeline itself raised serious questions. Betsy Arakawa had died 7 days before Gene Hackman. That meant Hackman had remained alone inside the estate with her body for an entire week. There were no emergency calls, no attempts to reach anyone, no indication he tried to leave or bring help. What could explain that silence? Was it grief, isolation, or something else entirely? Something connected to what investigators would soon uncover beneath the house. Because once authorities obtained a warrant to search deeper, they discovered something hidden behind the walls of Hackman's private library. A concealed passage. It had been sealed and hidden so carefully that no staff member, neighbor, or official had ever known it existed. Whoever created it had taken extreme measures to ensure it stayed hidden. But the passage itself wasn't the most disturbing discovery. It was what waited at the end of it. The estate that was built like stronghold. To understand the significance of what lay underground, you first have to understand the nature of the estate above it. Hackman's residence was not an ordinary home. It was built for total privacy and control. Dense forests surrounded the property, creating natural isolation. Thick stone walls formed a secure perimeter. Motion sensors monitored movement across the grounds. Thermal cameras tracked heat signatures day and night. Surveillance systems operated constantly, watching every corner of the estate. The level of security was extraordinary. Every employee who worked there had been carefully selected and legally bound to strict confidentiality agreements. Over the years, gardeners, maintenance workers, and household staff came and went. Yet none of them ever publicly revealed anything about what they had seen. That kind of silence is rare. Journalists who attempted to investigate the estate's history found themselves blocked. Official records were incomplete. Construction permits contained missing information. Property documents showed unexplained gaps. One researcher affiliated with the Santa Fe Historical Society spent months reviewing land and construction records tied to the property. Then suddenly he stopped. He stopped answering calls, he stopped publishing his findings, and he never gave a reason. No one ever discovered what she had found, or who may have convinced her to stop digging. But once you moved beyond those towering gates, the inside of the estate was nothing short of overwhelming. Hallways stretched long and silent, their walls decorated with original works of art. Furniture from centuries past stood untouched, pieces once owned by European royalty. Massive chandeliers hung from the ceilings, rumored to have once illuminated ancient palace halls. Outside, the gardens were filled with botanical specimens, so rare they existed in only a handful of places on Earth. At one point, speculation arose that the deaths may have been caused by carbon monoxide exposure. But the structure itself told a more complicated story. Dr. Elena Vasquez, an architectural historian from University of New Mexico, later evaluated the property and spoke with striking clarity. She explained that she had studied estates across the Southwest, but nothing compared to this one. It had the beauty of a museum, yet it was protected like a military installation. According to her, that level of protection doesn't exist without purpose. It exists because something inside is worth protecting. And beneath all of that beauty, something had been waiting. When body camera footage was later released following a rare judicial order, it showed deputies stepping into the mansion for the first time. The silence inside was immediate and suffocating. But what disturbed them wasn't the quiet. It was the evidence of recent activity. Furniture had been dragged across the floors, leaving scratch marks in the hardwood. Books had been pulled from shelves and stacked incorrectly. Drawers were left open. A bedroom safe sat open and completely empty. Someone had been searching or hiding something. That's when agents entered the library, and everything changed. The hidden passage below the library, behind a section of wall in Hackman's private library, concealed so precisely it blended perfectly into the structure, investigators discovered an engineered entry point. This wasn't a simple hidden door behind a painting or a swinging bookshelf. It required a specific activation sequence. Whoever designed it never intended for it to be found accidentally. Once opened, it revealed a narrow stone stairway descending into darkness. There was no lighting, no airflow, just a vertical path leading deep underground. Agents began moving downward. With each step, the temperature dropped. The air became damp and heavy, filled with the metallic scent of rust. Moisture clung to the stone walls. Their flashlight beams swept across the surfaces, and then they saw the markings. They weren't random scratches or decoration. They were deliberate carvings. Symbols etched with precision. Some resembled alchemical notation. Others looked like technical schematics, diagrams of devices and mechanisms that didn't match any known historical technology. One carving appeared to represent a machine composed of gears, chambers, and conduits arranged in ways investigators couldn't immediately explain. The tunnel itself revealed something even stranger. Near the top, the structure showed signs of modern construction, clean cuts, reinforced concrete, industrial materials. But as agents descended further, the tunnel changed. The walls became rough. Tool marks appeared consistent with hand carving, not power tools. The deeper sections appeared far older. Structural engineer Marcus Devlin, who later reviewed images from inside the tunnel, concluded that the deepest portions could be over a century old, possibly much older. He believed the tunnel hadn't been built by Hackman. Instead, it already existed when he acquired the property. The upper sections had been reinforced and modernized, but the core structure had been there long before. Hackman hadn't built it, he had inherited it. The underground chamber. At the bottom of the stairway, agents entered a large underground chamber frozen in time. Wooden crates were stacked along the walls, some collapsing under their own age. Their contents had spilled across the stone floor. Yellow documents lay scattered. Rusted metallic objects sat half buried in dust. Artifacts filled the room, objects with no clear origin or historical classification. One agent opened a fragile container and found photographs inside. The images were old, curling at the edges. The people in them were unfamiliar. Their clothing belonged to another era. Some photographs showed meetings inside windowless rooms. Others showed unknown underground locations. In one image, several men stood around a table covered in maps. Their faces were tense, illuminated by a single overhead light that on the back of the photograph was a handwritten date. And beneath it, a single word in an unidentified language. Nearby, leather-bound folders contained documents filled with coded entries. Dates without explanation. Names that had been blacked out. Descriptions of events that didn't exist in any official archive. Some pages were partially burned, as if someone had tried to destroy the information but never finished. Other papers displayed watermarks belonging to organizations that had officially ceased to exist decades earlier. The sheer volume of material was staggering. Investigators estimated it would take years to analyze everything in that chamber, but none of it prepared them for what stood at the far end of the room. The sealed barrier. At the back wall of the chamber, agents found another iron door. Unlike anything else in the tunnel, it had no handle, no visible hinges. Its steel surface was heavily corroded. It seems permanently sealed by weld marks. It had been closed from the inside. IT wasn't built to keep people out. It was built to keep something contained. To this day, the FBI has never publicly explained what lies beyond that door. There have been no official statements, no confirmed leaks, no disclosures. In a time when sensitive information often surfaces quickly, that level of silence is rare. It suggests control. It suggests suppression, and it suggests the discovery was significant. The markings on the floor, the chamber floor itself, held another mystery. Carved into the stone were circular designs, precise, complex patterns resembling celestial maps. They weren't random. They appeared to represent astronomical alignments, constellations, orbital paths, planetary positions mapped with mathematical accuracy. Whoever carved them knew exactly what they were doing. These weren't decorations. They were instructions. Or markers. Tools recovered from the chamber only deepened the mystery. Some contained engravings unlike anything tied to known manufacturers. One object, a small metal cylinder with rotating internal rings, had no visible seams or assembly points. It appeared to have been formed as a single solid piece, something modern metallurgy still struggles to achieve at that scale. Former FBI forensic analyst Dr. James Whitfield, who spent nearly 2 decades analyzing classified evidence, later reviewed the available details. He offered a simple explanation. When an agency becomes this silent, this quickly, there are only 2 possibilities. Either they found nothing and want to avoid embarrassment, or they found something so important, so difficult to explain, that silence becomes the only option. And beneath Gene Hackman's estate, behind a door sealed from inside, whatever waited there remains untouched, locked, hidden, and still undisclosed.